UFC 322 Della Maddellana versus Islam Machachev is officially here, the final pay-per-view card of the year and of the ESPN tenure before it goes over to Paramount Plus. And thank bless, hopefully it gets better because my goodness, this was a rough stretch for a lot of UFC fans. But if all things go according to plan, this Paramount era should be so much better. But they did do one thing right, is we are ending the pay-per-view lineup with a banger at UFC 322. Ranked fighters across the board as we go ahead and take a look. Now, to kick things off, Beneil Dariush taking on Benoit Saint Denis. Dariush missing weight earlier this morning as well during part of the weigh-in. A slight underdog against Saint Denis. Saint Denis was looking pretty big when they did that, when they squared off. I think he's going to be able to impose his will a little bit. I think he's going to be able to control things. I don't think he's going to get I know he's both submission guys. Dariush is probably a little better on the feet. I think BSD might be a touch more athletic, but a little bit more physical. So we're going to take Saint Denis to win. And for the bet, we're looking at over 1.5 rounds at minus 154. So we're going to kick off our main card bets with over 1.5 rounds. Next up, a doozy. Leon Edwards taking on Carlos Prates, a fight that I fully anticipate should spend a lot of time on the feet. Prates coming off a huge win, spinning back elbow. Edwards, a tough, probably one of the worst losses of his career against Sean Brady. I'm interested about this one. I'm really curious what we see with Leon Edwards. If he shows up at the top of his game, full flow state, physically imposing, strong, athletic, like we saw against Colby Covington in those first handful of rounds, like we saw in the Kamaru Usman second and third fights. If we see that type of Leon Edwards, it gets really interesting, where he's so crisp on the feet, so fast. His strikes have a thud with them. Those kicks are devastating. But if we get the very passive, just one shot, circle, 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 one shot, circle, 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 one shot, two, circle, circle, then that's where Prates is going to basically start in a flow state. If you let Prates start flowing, let that Muay Thai get going, let his pop shots get going, let him mix it up, that's when it gets dangerous. Regardless, I do think this fight has the potential to end. So for the bet, we're going to say the fight won't go the distance at minus 120. I think either Leon comes in at his best, controls Prates, maybe gets him out of there on the ground, maybe catches him on the feet. Prates panic shoots Leon Edwards, then finishes him on the ground. Or Prates is just in his bag, and Leon Edwards is super passive, and he tees off and gets a late finish. So either way, we're going to say it won't go the distance. I'm going to lean towards Prates because the last time we saw Leon Edwards, it looked like that fight against Bilal took a little bit out of him, and the Sean Brady one might have put the nail in the coffin. I hope not. I like Leon Edwards, but we're going to take Prates to win. Wouldn't mind being wrong, but we are going to take the fight. Won't go the distance at minus 120. Moving up the card, sticking in the division, speaking of Sean Brady, taking on Michael Morales for what most likely for Sean Brady should be a chance at the welterweight title if he wins. 18-1 versus 18-0. Very underrated fight. Morales has been very good coming off back-to-back KO wins. Sean Brady, as we mentioned, that finish over Leon Edwards and beat Gilbert Burns before that, I believe, as well. So I got to say, when it comes to this fight, I'm not really sure how I'm leaning against this one. I'm not going to lie. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, well, Sean Brady should be able to just get a hold of him, get him down, easy peasy, no problem. But I look at Michael Morales, I'm like, if he slows down those takedowns and he doesn't let Sean Brady physically impose his will, that stand-up, the length of Michael Morales, the ability to control things, his ability to shut the lights off very quickly, the length, it gets very interesting. I think it's going to go over 2.5 rounds. That's the bet we're going to take. I think either Sean Brady is going to get him on the ground and wear him down, or Morales is basically going to play cat and mouse with him for a while before finishing him late. So we're going to take over 2.5 rounds. A bit of a dangerous one there because that 2.5 is a lot. That's basically saying it'll all but go to decision. But I just don't know if Sean Brady will have the stopping power on the feet. And like we saw against Edwards, he broke him over time. It wasn't something like he immediately whooped him. He just broke him and broke him and broke him, which is his path to victory. And I think defensively, even though that Bilal Muhammad TKO loss looms heavy, I think he is very durable on the feet and so we're going to, we're going to take the upside. We're going to take Michael Morales to get the win, but our bet is going to be over 2.5 rounds at minus 166. So we're basically leaning for a decision or a late finish. Next up, the co-main event, women's championship fight, flyweight title fight. Valentina Shevchenko taking on Zhang Weili, and the women's divisions have had a lot of flux recently. There hasn't been a lot of captivating matchups. This is where this is where it changes. You have a true super fight, champion versus champion. Zhang Weili might be the best women's fighter in the world right now. Valentina might be one of the best women's fighters of all time, not named Amanda Nunes. 25-4, taking on 26-3. It's tough because flyweights not that I don't think Zhang Weili is gonna be at a huge size disadvantage because Valentina, when she fought at 135, was really small. That's part of the reason she's a perfect fit for this weight class. Zhang was she's a bigger girl for 115. So I think at 125, I think it kind of matches up there. I don't think there'll be a massive physicality difference. Valentina will get the edge there. One thing I will say is I do think this is going to be a long fight. I don't think Valentina's catching a head kick. I think there's gonna be a lot of strikes thrown. I think Valentina could look to clinch a lot, maybe a lot of early takedown attempts. But I think once those get stuffed and Zhang's able to control that, then we're going to start seeing a little bit of Weili, young Jacek, kind of some of those fights play out a little bit in those middle rounds. So we're going to go with Valentina over 69.5 significant strikes because if she does get Zhang on the ground, she is going to unload when she gets in position, I believe. I think she'll be looking for that mounted crucifix. This is the type of fight I expect her to look a little bit more towards the finish, as we've seen in some of our more recent ones, like a statement type of win, or it's going to be on the feet and they're going to be just trading a lot. So I'm going to go over 69.5 significant strikes for Valentina. And for the winner, I think it would be very interesting for Weili to win because I think that opens up a whole different conversation and makes this division spices it up a bit. We're going to take Valentina, though. I think this is just the fight she finds a way to win, wins that fifth round, gets a takedown, controls it, lands enough strikes. Very even first two rounds, probably has some bruising, some scratches on the face. I think it's very close and competitive fight. Valentina wins the fifth round and takes it away. Very close, competitive, like 48-47 type of fight. Last but not least, the fight. Jack Della Maddellana taking on Islam Machachev, excuse me. 18-2 versus 27-1. We kind of know the drill. Islam absolutely dominant through his run at lightweight, crushing featherweights and lightweights alike. JDM with a huge win over Bilal Muhammad, which earns him this super fight opportunity as well. I don't think this is the same type of fight too much. I think Islam is a significantly better grappler. I think he's better on the feet. I think Bilal this isn't a trash Bilal segment. That's not what we're here for. But I think Islam does everything better. So I don't think it'll be the exact same type of fight. I don't think he had the exact same results. The MMA math will not work here. You can't just be like, oh, well, he stopped his takedown, so he'll stop them. They have the same fan base, blah, blah, blah. That very different fighters. Islam is miles better, even at 170. During the weigh-ins, he didn't quite look as full like we see at 155. And I know he's not cutting as much weight, but I do wonder if maybe adding that 15 pounds isn't quite filled out the way that that he would like compared to when Jack was on the weigh-ins, who's not a massive welterweight either, but he just fills out the weight perfectly. So I do think physicality, stature-wise, I don't think there's going to be a huge ebb and flow there or a huge advantage either way. This fight goes a couple of ways. I believe Islam gets him down very early and is able to basically control the fight, ride him out as long as he wants until he gets that submission win. Think like Khamzat versus Dricus, just I think Islam will go for the finish at some point. Or JDM is able to stop that early one and force it to be on the feet a little bit more, almost like Islam and Dustin Poirier, for an example, where he's able to control, land some shots, and force into it that stand-up type of fight. Whereas different is Jack's defense is so tight. He spent so much time here. He switches the stances mid-combination as well. He's good with the kicks. He attacks the body, which I think is going to be huge in this fight. Because when you're throwing those hooks to the body, if they try and shoot underneath, you're in position to defend. You have your underhooks. You have your ability to frame off and then throw over the top. He doesn't waste any movement. He gets out of those clinch positions and he starts firing back right away. He's looking for opportunities to hit and hurt his opponent, not just trying to defend. I think that's going to be the difference in this one. I'm going to take Jack Della Maddellana. I think he's going to probably lose round one. Islam's going to come out, try and get him down early, maybe get him down, and Jack gets back up, fighting against the cage. A lot of very tight early contested one, but I think over time, Jack's landing those body shots, getting those underhooks, land the framing off the head, avoiding the massive takedowns. I think over time, Jack will get the win. That'll propel him to, it might be a late finish, but I could also see it going to decision 48-47 style, kind of similar to the one we saw before, where Makhachev's going to win some of those rounds. He's going to have his moments. He's probably going to land some big shots as well. But I do think JDM's just going to have full control of the fight. And as it goes on, I think he's going to be able to tune it up. This is his weight class. He carries this weight different naturally. It's a little bit different. I think speed-wise, he's not going to be at a speed disadvantage either. So give me the JDM money line at plus 245. So the rest of them relatively even, minus 150, 61, minus 120. Then we got a plus 245. If you are a demon, you want to parlay these together, you're looking at plus 3,025 odds. So remember, bet smarter, not harder. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Don't be betting the house if you don't have the house. Be very smart with your bets. These are just my picks and predictions. Let us know down below what you have for UFC 322. Who's going to walk away in the final pay-per-view as winners in the ESPN era before we jump over to Paramount. I'm very excited for that. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you all again. Oh, before I forget, as we are in the last pay-per-view of the year, our record on the season, 29, 10, and 1. The Tom Aspinall Cyril Gane ended in a push. So we're trying to finish this one out strong. This feels like a 5-0 bet card. If we get this one, we'll finish 34, 10, and 1, which would be absolutely incredible. But let us know down below what picks you have and who you're taking, and we'll see you all again next time.